Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
This is Phoenix Coryell. Welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Today I want to talk to you about finding the dot. You know, red dot sites are like huge now, right? I mean, there's a Trigicon RMR. Yes, it is cleared. Don't give me crap about it. All right. It's a nice site. It's a beautiful site. I love it. Here we've got a Venom, our Vortex Venom site as well. Another good site. And then you've got open sites. Okay. But people are always complaining to me, I can't find the dot. Well, if you can't find the red dot when you're driving out, it's because you have bad presentation. Basically, you know, I see a lot of stuff, out on the gun range. I see guys, they'll draw, they'll come up, and they come up like this. Okay, when you come up like this, you have to align the sights. They're almost always off. Okay. But if you present the gun properly, and I see people, they'll come up and they'll do this. You know, we call this like fishing for bullets or bowling for bullets. You don't want to do either one of those. You know, usually if you can't find the dot, it's because you're not drawing and presenting the gun properly. You draw, you come up center line. If you're appendix, you come up, you get on your center line right on the sternum, you hold the gun heart high, parallel to the deck. Okay, here I'm looking at the camera. Most people come up like this, and they either tilt the gun up too high or they tilt it down too low. If you do that, you're not going to pull up and go, oh, there's the dot, because it won't be there. Okay, typically, all right, here is your perfect sight alignment right there. Here is the sight alignment with a red dot. Here's the field of view right there. So it's a limited field of view. Usually when people present the gun, their front sight goes high. Even with just traditional iron sights, no red dot, they'll pull up and the sights will be off, and usually the front sight is high. If the front sight is high, where's the dot going to be? It's not going to be here in the field of view. It's going to be up here. It's going to be way up here, and you won't see it. So you've got to drop that front sight down so that the dot comes down into the field of view. If you do this, if you have a practiced, really good presentation, you're not going to have problems with this. I admit, when I first did this, I had problems. Okay, I drive out and go, where's the dot? I can't find the dot. But what I noticed was every time I drew with traditional iron sights, I would drive out and the sights weren't lined up and the front sight was always too high. But the thing is, we've been shooting with iron sights for so long that we just get used to presenting. The sights are off, we automatically drop it down. But with the red dot, it's different because you can't see the dot and you don't know where it is. So you don't know where, do I drop it down? And you're doing this, okay, trying to find the red dot. Just whether you're shooting iron sights or red dot, you've got to get the presentation perfect because it'll save time. Iron sights, you drive out, it's already lined up. I just got to shoot. I don't have to take that extra 1 second in a gunfight to line up the sights, because if I present correctly, the sights are already lined up. It's the same thing with a red dot, okay? If you're holding the gun correctly, heart high parallel to the deck, when you drive out, straight out like a piston, there's the dot, okay? When the gun is angled up, the dot's way up here. When it's angled down, it's not in the field of view. You need to keep that dot inside the field of view. So when you're drawing, basically, you're coming up, heart high parallel to the deck, centered on the sternum here. High compressed ready, I drive straight out, there's my dot right there, okay? Practice it over and over again. You need thousands of repetitions. Just, clear your gun, practice with a dry gun over and over again in front of a mirror. Videotape yourself doing it until every time you drive out, there's the dot. Come back, drive out, come back, drive out. You can practice it 5,000 times the wrong way and you're still not going to find the dot. But I'm here to tell you, folks, the red dot or the green dot, whichever you prefer. Some people are better, can see the green dot better, but most people can see the red dot better. Try them both, see what works best for you, all right? But I'm telling you, the holographic sight, the red dot sight, those are the waves of the future, because you're not going to get younger, you're going to get older. And when you get older, your eyesight's going to get weak and dim, and you're going to need that bright dot to put it where you need that shot to go, okay? I highly recommend people get red dots, even if you don't need them. Get them, because someday you are going to need them, and let's face it, they're superior, especially at longer distances and in low light conditions. They are superior, hands down. That's the way it works. All right, that's all I have for you today. It's getting close to Valentine's Day. Don't forget that. That'll get you in big trouble. Buy your wife a red dot sight. Trijicon RMR or the Vortex or the Holosun. She'll love whatever you buy her to fit your gun. Okay? All right, that's all I got for you on the Home Defense Show. Remember our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association. Check them out. That great training, great legal protection. Also check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. And remember, presentation, perfect. Okay? All right, this is Skip Coryell and Home Defense Show. Have fun, be safe, and God bless you and your family.
And now it's time for our self-defense report. Take us there, bro.
All of us here at Frontlines of Freedom want our listeners to get trained and get armed in that order. We fully support the right to keep and bear arms for all law-abiding families, and we encourage you to find out about the laws governing use of deadly force in your state and follow them to the letter. And, of course, don't forget to follow the rules of safety and common sense whenever you're carrying a firearm to protect the ones you love. What's the story this week, Colonel?
It was early evening, just as the sun was going down, as Eileen left the grocery store pushing her fully loaded shopping cart in front of her. She didn't see the man hiding behind the van until he was on top of her. She was viciously punched in the face with brass knuckles, breaking bones and leaving cuts and bruises about her head and her shoulders. As she fell to the ground, Eileen remembered the pepper spray on her key ring and brought it up in front of her. She sprayed the criminal in the face. He immediately covered his face with his hands, let out a scream, and fled the parking lot. Eileen called the police and was treated for her injuries. The assailant hasn't been located.
Thanks, Colonel. Eileen did a great job here protecting herself against a deadly attack. Oleoresin capsicum sprays, commonly called pepper spray or OC spray, are widely used in our society as a personal protection tool, and for good reason, as they have many advantages. First, they are easy to deploy against an attacker. Simply grasp the container with the spout facing away from you and press the button. The place to aim is the center of face, right about the bridge of the nose on most people. Second, OC spray is effective on approximately 80% of the general population. OC spray is made from chili peppers. It's effective because it causes the mucous membranes to swell, which makes it hard to breathe. It also swells the veins in the eyes, which impairs vision. I remember the gas chamber in boot camp where we were forced to take off our gas mask in a fog-filled Quonset hut. Many of us were immediately incapacitated. Mucus drained from my nose and mouth, and I cried like a baby. Some recruits even vomited. The burning sensation on the skin lasted for at least an hour, and it couldn't be easily washed off. Third, OC spray is legal to carry in more jurisdictions than firearms. While guns are more effective, you can't carry them everywhere. And let's face it, there are those among us who refuse to carry a gun for moral and personal reasons. But pepper spray gives these people a fighting chance to save their lives. Fourth, because OC spray is a less than lethal application, you don't have to struggle with the morality of using deadly force. If you get excited and make a bad legal call, then you may still be in a little bit of trouble, but at least no one died, and you won't be spending the rest of your life in prison. Here's my advice to those of you who refuse to carry a gun or who are unable to carry one. Get the pepper spray and carry it every day. Because it's not a gun, you can carry it easily in your pocket or even in your hand while walking through a dangerous parking lot. No one will ever know that you have it. Pepper spray is a part of my own personal protection plan, and I carry it with me every place I go, simply because 85% of altercations do not rise to the level of deadly force. But you should also be aware that it doesn't work as well on people on drugs, the mentally ill, or those filled with rage. It's also only effective at close range and is affected by the wind. One last thing, be sure to research the OC laws in your jurisdiction as they vary from state to state. Eileen did a great job protecting herself from a deadly attack, and Frontlines of Freedom wishes her all the best as she recovers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!